I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. Hey, everybody. Want to welcome you back to another session with me, Warren Werbitt, otherwise known as the Print Whisperer. Try to market everywhere. Do check out my site. By the way, today we are sitting here with a classy guy. We're sitting with Jeff Hernandez of Classic Color. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. So before we get into anything, why don't you just give us a little snippet on Classic Color? What do you do?
Well, Classic Color is a visual communications company. And when I say visual communications, we really push the window as far as tactileness. We want people to not only look at printing, we want them to experience print. And we all talk about social media, and social media is print. And people don't look at it that way. You know, we bring people together with the pieces that we do. We cause interaction, and at the end of the day, the most important thing is to push that marketing needle. And that's what Classic emphasis, their whole emphasis is that understanding what we do and understand how we fit with our clients and their marketing efforts.
Cool. So before I get into my questions, I'm going to do this, and I hope you're okay with it. But personally, honestly, your company, I think, unbelievably awesome. We just met for the first time when I called you the other day, correct?
Yes.
Just so that everybody's aware. But I've known you since 2008. I've been following your company. I've been following them through Sappi, right? I bought a 56-inch KBA press in 2008 from KBA. Don't know why they changed their name to Coing Bauer, but that's another conversation. But ever since I bought that press, I remember the Sappi #3 book that you did, and that had all the fields, reticulation, levels, UVs, code. I can't even, everything, thermocratic ink. I used to walk around with that book in my plant when we got the new press, testing the press. And doing different things, because you guys are who I wanted to be, from a quality sense, from touch and feel. Just, you are the essence of what printing is to me, and I don't care what anybody else says. So just a kudos to you, and you could tell me more a little bit, or tell us more a little bit about it after. But this is the shit that makes me crazy. This is the stuff that makes me want to go stay in print. Right? This is the stuff this is print porn at its finest, right? And I say that in the nicest, most positive way. Wow, wow, wow. I'm going to sit here while we talk, and if you hear ooze, it's because I'm running my hands over UV. Anyways, I'll put that aside for now. I just wanted to give you that accolade because just wow, wow, wow. And for anybody else watching, I hope you're doing UV. If you're not doing UV, just call Jeff and talk about UV. Okay, now, first question that comes to mind today is, how are you dealing with the paper crisis?
Well, the paper crisis is impacting everybody, but what we have to look at is the entire market, everything. I mean, you go to the store, the shelves are empty, okay? And it's a matter of educating the client and really getting them to understand that, hey, look, just like in the store, there's a shortage. Okay, when you go to look for something now, you can't find something. Philadelphia cream cheese, something as basic as that. The holiday comes along, there's none on the shelf. Okay, so I think everybody's understanding that. But what a proactive company is doing is they're looking at it and saying, okay, I need to interact with my client, and we need to say, okay, if we're going to be doing the same projects we did last year, we need to order the paper ahead of time. So it's not that there is a paper shortage, but understanding that you have to change your behavior. It's not just-in-time manufacturing anymore. Now it's changing your behavior to say, okay, I'm going to have to wait till the paper is made 1 or 2 months or 3 months. And I could tell you why my belief is. This is just all my belief, nobody else's belief. It's my belief. For years, we've let printers, we've let clients abuse us. And when I'm saying abuse us,
oh man, brother,
we're the only industry that manages to go down every year. And to manufacture paper, okay, and I'm going to catch a lot of flack from this from a lot of printers, but you know what? Certain printers, they don't really understand why they're in business. They're in business to make money, okay? Therefore, the next guy gets to make his money, the ink guy gets to make his money, and we all thrive together and we all go up together. But no, what happens is we go into the very thing that printers hate is the very thing they do. They go in and say, I'm going to get the 3 best bids on paper and I'm going to sell it to them. And they don't like that happening to them, but they do it to others. Okay. And this is the way we let the clients train us. And the smart printers, they looked at it and said, no, we understand the value. We understand the value of what we do. So now what happened is paper companies were making paper, storing it in warehouses, paying for the storage. Merchants were selling paper and making marginal money on the paper. But the printer takes it and they mark it up 10%, and the merchants not even make it 10%. So this was like a definition for complete insanity. Rather than sit down and on both sides educate one another and say, hey, look, guys, if we don't get together and do something about this, we're all good. It's a losing proposition. Okay. So now it happened by default. It happened because what paper companies are starting to realize is that, hey, look, taking paper, manufacturing it and storing it in warehouses and hope we sell it versus selling it immediately and make a good profit at it. Now today, today for the last 10, 15 years, it was a sin to make a profit. Mm-hmm. Who in your right mind goes in business to lose money? So, that's where we differ in a lot of ways.
I'm just biting my tongue because I'm loving what you're saying. Because
I tell all my peers, look, if you can't make money in your business, you are useless to your clients.
Never mind. Never mind the clients. You're in business selfishly to make money for yourself. And if you can't
you can't say that.
No. We're talking peer. We're talking peer.
Only Bezos can do that.
No. But peer to peer, right? But peer to peer, if you're in business and you're not making money and charging, you shouldn't be in business because you're hurting it for everybody else.
That's what happens
in the whole chain.
It brings
right?
everything down.
And when I used to hear guys, girls marking paper up 10 points, I'd look at them and say, are you an idiot? Like, why? What's the benefit? Because you're going to feed your press at $250 an hour when it should be $350 or $400 already an hour. You've just cut in every way possible. So, and I always said, hey, if paper cost $1 a pound instead of 50 cents, my markup, whatever, 10, 15, 20, 30 is worth more on $1 than 50 cents. So who wants 50 cents a pound? I just hope now in this market that our peers are smart enough to be getting full pin for the paper because the conversation's easy today, right? Sorry, if you can get it somewhere less expensive, by all means go. I've got 3 people lined up and we can't get enough paper.
Okay, right? Here's a perfect analogy. An automobile. Who would have thought automobiles would cost what they cost today? They get it, okay? They get how it works, whereas paper.
Sorry, so I'm going to cut.
Not only
do they get it, if I look at my Grand Cherokee that I drive, it comes in 8 different models with slight variations. And if you want to get the security lighting, you got to take it with the navigation system. But every model goes up 10 or 14% until you get to the top of the line.
Exactly. And that is an industry that understands the client and understands value. Okay. Now we went through this. I won't even mention, I do a lot of work in the automotive sector, all launches. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I hear one of them, there's a car shortage and they're making 50% of the cars, right? They've had record profits in their whole history. So what did they learn from that? They learned that they could sell, instead of discount, they could sell these cars, and in most cases, 3 to 5,000 over sticker.
Right.
Okay, is that right to everybody? No, it's not right to everyone. But what their people are learning from this is our old business mentality is not right. We need to manufacture just in time so that people can experience the cost. We don't have inventory sitting all over the place. We don't have to give rebates on stuff. We don't have to do all this craziness. And we're the only industry that just didn't get that.
Hey, we're the only industry that does every job custom
Exactly.
and charges like it's off the shelf.
Exactly. You know, we're great manufacturers. I mean, our industry is great manufacturers. They're full of innovation. They're full of technology. I love these companies that are so innovative. And then you tell your client about the innovation and you tell them what you're going to do to make a better product. And the client says, oh, does that mean we're going to get it cheaper? So all the money that you saved through the innovation, are you giving it back? Well, then what was the sense of innovating? I mean, innovation costs money. And what we need to really understand, there's no neutrality in business. Business is either going up in technology and innovation, or it's going down. That's it. Well, there's no neutrality.
I kind of use this analogy all the time and I laugh a little, right? My lawyer who charged, when I started with him, was charging $350 an hour. And maybe now he's up to $600, $650, maybe $700. I don't know. He's in the same office at the same wood desk, looking out the same window downtown. I put in a $3.5 million press with 2 guys that operate it, that each earn $35 an hour, whatever, plus fringe. Plus I've got all the other overhead that goes, and I have to fight with people to get $450 an hour gross, when everyone has no problem with the professional help. And I'm not knocking the professional help, but another thing would be is when the lawyer makes a mistake on a letter and I say to him, you got to correct it, I'm getting charged for his time to correct what he did wrong. Yet in our business, everybody wants everything done for free regardless. And it's insane, right?
Exactly.
You give every client 1 hour. At the end of the year, you could have 1,000 hours at $400, $400,000, which you don't have, which is what would get you over the hump to the next year.
That's why I always tell people, understand the value of what you do. Okay, because when you could understand value, and it's this thing where you bring more benefit than just a price to your client. Okay, because at the end of the day, is your customer buying print or are they buying return on investment? Okay, and when people I show them this and I'm saying, okay, currently, what are you doing? Okay, now if I could you're getting a 2% return on that. If I could take and get you a 6%, 10% return, I more than did my job. Okay, now I should get paid for that. Okay, and then they look at you and then they say, well, Jeff, we need to see that. So I said, okay, I'll match that price of that job that you're doing there. But when you get the returns back, I'm going to trust in you that you're going to pay us our money, right? And most of the time we have the clients to this day because they get it. They understand it. Look,
and then they see it when it actually starts to
sell value. You guys understand value. And then, all I could say is I'm not doing this because Classic Color needs advertising. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this for the industry. I love this industry. I don't want to see this industry go by the wayside. I do all these coding books. I do all these paper books. And do I do it because we're making huge profits on it? No. You know what I do it for? I do it is to engage the other printers. They could say they did those books for all I care, because I want them to amp it up. So when you start amping it up, you force yourself into a market. And like UV. I started in UV in 1999. Our company, we started in 1999. We started in 1978 as a pre-press, and that's why we got it, because everything starts with a front end, and thereafter everything is just an output. Right. When you could manage the front, all the creativity that goes on the front, every machine is just an output from there. And we learn that, and we have a great culture of that. Our people are great at what they do. They're, true artisans. And we took that and went into print in 99. We put 2 half-size presses in, and that didn't even last a year. We shot right to 40 UV. Okay. Well, we put 1 conventional, and that didn't last. And then we went to UV. The first UV press we put in, I mean, we were scratching our heads because,
what was UV? Like it was
exactly. And the thing is, all the coating companies were saying, well, Jeff, here, this is what you do. You could do gloss. You could do. I said, no, I don't want to do that. So I had one of the leading coating companies. The owner came to me and he says, my salesman says that we're not responsible enough for you. And I want to understand what you want. And I says, well, I have this client. It was a trucking company, big trucking company. And they wanted to make something feel like a rocky road, right? And this was in 1999. So I says, okay, I want to create this coating that feels like a rocky road. And he goes, well, how are you going to run it? I said, don't worry about how we're going to run it. I'll figure that out. I want the coating. When he goes, Jeff, that's just one project, and we're not going to make that coating for you and lose money with it. And I says, so you're not going to venture in it. I'm going to venture in it. I'm venturing in it, and you're not going to venture in with us, right? So I says, to me, your product is no more than just floor wax. Right. So if you just sell Mop and Glow, I don't need to use you anymore. Just telling him that motivated him. He went back and he built that coating. This coating company invented grit. They're the inventor of grit coating. Okay.
Do you still use them today?
We still use them today. And we have so many different coatings we built with them and other coating companies. There's so many great coating companies out there. Okay. But there's very few that want to do the hard work. They want to sell Mop and Glow. And it's because majority of the market buys Mop and Glow.
It's not the vendor. It's the printer. We are the reason for a lot of stuff that doesn't happen.
So what that motivated me to do was how I started I cut my teeth in fashion in this business. I had every fashion title you could imagine. And in one fell swoop, that company went bankrupt. And I lost a lot of sales in one fell swoop. And I learned, I said to myself, I put all my eggs in that basket. And, I wasn't upset about it because, they were good to us. We had great relationship. And
just shit timing
lasts forever.
Yeah, I have the same experience.
So what ends up happening is I said to myself, I'm working with all these papers. How do I make paper look sexy? That's how my brain started with this. How do you make paper look sexy? So I started looking at some of these paper books, and they're just pretty blah. They're really blah. So started calling on a lot of the mills, and got a project here, got a project there. We do a lot of work with mills, and we started getting projects, and I started pushing them to do these techniques. And they had some of the greatest designers. And the reason why I love Sappi is because Sappi understood. There's one mill,
the only one.
Nina does too. They all do to a degree, but
Sappi puts their money where their mouth is. But Sappi puts their money where their mouth is.
They do. And their product and everything and their sustainability. I became part of a sustainability board with them just to see what they're made of and to see that it was a real thing and not some bull, marketing thing. They had a whole sustainability group, and I fell in love with this company. I just truly fell in love with it. And I said, look, I want to do business with this company. I don't care what it's going to take. I'm going to do business with these people because these people live, they walk the walk, talk the talk, and every year things would progress with the standard series, and it just got better and better. And it's nothing to do. I'm just the person that dresses the mannequin.
You have the tools that they need to complete their creative process.
They are the creative genius.
Yes.
They come up with the creative genius. They understand their product. They understand their positioning. They understand where they want to be in the future, and not many people get that, and white paper, it's not sexy. Yeah, it's sexy when you look at it.
Well, what I used to
incredible thing.
sorry, I used to joke about all these people, designers, whatever, agencies, they would do all these great creative ideas. And then by the time it gets down to the printer, it's like they've all blown money, this and that. And the print could be 20, 25, 30 grand for to do the piece. And they're trying to figure out how to save some money at the end because what they've spent. And I'm like, hang on, you want to go to like a number 2 or 3 coated when you were quoting on a number 1 where you have a 93.4 brightness of white? I said, all the time and energy and money you spent playing with the photos and all your other images in one, you're going to kill it. And I can't fix that on press because you've downgraded the paper. And sometimes I win the competition. I win the conversation by making them see the light of, to save 2, 3, 4 grand when you spent 220 is stupid. And then other times it's like, okay, folks, I need you to sign the paper that says you wanted to change this and I did not, and I advised against it. And then either they sign it or they go, let me think, because why are you pushing? And I said, I don't want to be responsible when someone's not happy after.
And you know what the thing is when you look at the paper, the mills, you know, they're trying to differentiate themselves, okay, from white paper to white paper to white paper. And it boils down to performance. How's that paper perform in, you know, you got the buyer at the front of the printing at the process, and he's trying to buy the cheapest paper, okay? And then you don't see how it performs in the back. You don't see,
well,
you know,
if it takes you 14 hours longer to run it through the press and you can't flip it because it's not drying and
you're having
it's
calcium
curling
deposits all over the place, you're having streaks, you're fighting all kinds of problems. Okay, you know, it's a miracle that a press does what it does in itself. Everything repels each other and somehow it goes down to a sheet of paper. So I always tell people, and you know, I am not here as a commercial for nobody. I'm here to try to help this industry go forward.
Me too.
And the thing is if we're going to do that, we have to understand that we used to have a television here that was called Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Right.
And what you put in a product is very important. It's very key for consistency and quality. If I look at pieces and they're all over the place color wise. That doesn't say much for brand consistency, because I cut my teeth in fashion, and everything in fashion is brand consistency. They want it to look the same all over, no matter what it's printing in, what format it's printing in. And yeah, the thing is we started to take from here, take from there, take from here, take from there, to try to lessen our product to make more profit. And I'm sitting there saying, no, that's not the answer. Make the product great. The results will be great.
So this is luxury to me.
Exactly.
Okay. To most of the people I know that like luxury or buy better quality things, be it fishing rods or cars or clothes or jewelry.
Exactly.
Better is better. And people who buy better know that it costs more. Why some people get it?
They don't buy 100.
But then why some people go and they get into the marketing and their businesses and the print and the cost, and they start to question this when this is what gives them the ability to go live luxury in their other life, right? Because they buy in the business, they build the business, it grows, it's good. And then you can go live and spend. Yet people look at this and don't get it. I mean, I think to me, print, what I always loved about print more than anything when I started was every single person, as a salesperson, every single person I meet anywhere is a potential customer. That's how important print is in the world, at a business level, at a consumer level, at a retail level, at an R&D level, at any level, there is print, whether people want to believe it, think it or not.
Print is, I always say to a brand, print is your first impression. It really is. It's what people look at. And, we were always taught you can't judge a book by its cover. Today, you judge a book by its cover. If you see a beautiful cover, you're going to go into the rest of the book and look at it. And you need things to draw you, and print will continually draw you. Video is wonderful. We have all these social medias. Email is just a wonderful
today it goes hand in hand. But so I say to all the printers, do you actually do any marketing Do you market what you're capable of or what you're capable of managing through others? Most are not putting anything out there. Most are not taking pride, nor the people within their companies because of their culture. There's a whole grassroots bottom that needs to be, I'll say, rebuilt with the new energy. We had a conversation offline where we were saying that our industry had, 1 foot's in the ground already. And here we have people with 1 foot in the ground who are moaning, complaining, and whatever they're doing. And on the other hand, we're worried about young people coming in, but we're not giving a great message.
Exactly.
And our industry printing is like software because we use software. The presses have video games on the screens at the front, cameras in the middle. Everything is a push button like nobody gets dirty the same way they used to.
No.
Right?
They want it. They want it easier. They want
no, but people.
Easier.
I think the perception of our industry is that it's an old, dirty industry, and we need to change it in a bigger way, quicker.
Yes, and like I always say, be who you say you are. Okay, mm-hmm. And I was just saying, my son wanted to work with me out of college. I said, go work somewhere else. You have to go work somewhere else because if you came to work for me, you wouldn't know anything. So he goes to school for engineering, goes to work in the auto industry for a manufacturer, goes from a manufacturer to a dealer network, goes to working on CRM systems for the dealer network. And he's in this industry for about 8 years in the auto industry. And I happen to do a lot of work in the auto industry and in a lot of launch projects. They give me the launch projects. So they give me so that, they want to get some buzz. They want something really cool. Right. And that's where, I'll get my business from. Okay.
Hang on. You did that BMW thing like 6, 7, 8 years ago with the BMW on the track and the white paper and the tire marks, if I remember.
That's and here,
and there's a YouTube video out on it as well.
Yes. It's a BMW imprint. And the thing is all we want to really, it's not to say classic ever. If you know the origins of classic, it's a very humble company.
Right.
It's not a braggadocious company. We're not someone that's gonna, go out there and really put our name all out there and tell everybody. We keep it very low key to what we do, and we invest in the people around us. So in other words, groups, different print groups. We'll invest in print groups. We'll invest with mill pieces. And the reason I say invest in them is because you don't always make profit. You don't always make profit on these things. And everybody says, oh, I want to print for the mill. But you have to know, you have to do what's right for the mill. You have to do what's right for, you're going to send it out to the biggest critics in the industry. Which
people are ready to pounce.
And they're going to rip it to shreds. And our objective at Classic was, we want to do this. My personal objective is to continue to push printers where they don't want to go. Because if you look at our industry, when I first started in this industry, man, we were like King Kong. We bumped our chest. We showed our customers, CMYK, forget that.
We beat the metal like there was no tomorrow.
Exactly. And, expanded gamut, high def,
hexachrome, everything. Long chrome, disc chrome.
We were just like kings of the jungle. Okay. And then how that began to change and how all of a sudden it all became about getting it on the paper and getting it out the door. Okay. And I'm like, this is not me. This is not what we do. We don't do this. We want to, always continue to, like I always use the adage, when salt loses its flavor, when it loses its flavor, we all love salt. When it loses its flavor, we throw it on the ground, everybody steps on it. That's where companies end up going when they don't understand value added, what the value added in their culture.
Also, get it in and get it out doesn't work from a quality standpoint. You can't make something dry quicker. You can't make it cure better. The time it takes is the time it takes. I mean, I used to give people timelines to do these jobs because there's many facets to it. And can you cut 6 days? No.
Exactly.
Can you get it 6 days earlier and take maybe a few weeks less on the 9 months that you're spending on the other end, that you don't have to kill the manufacturer?
So all this, it's crazy. All this started from a question, our original question, what do I think about the paper shortage? And the thing is, I think we're learning. I really
good for coming back, because I was long gone from my head.
But I think we're learning. We're learning how to manufacture for profitability. All these mills are, putting out these marketing pieces. Sappi puts these beautiful marketing pieces out. And I used to get so upset because I deal with a lot of agencies and creative places, and they get all their ideas and creativity for it. And they don't ask, what paper you're putting it on. They and I always say, if you're going to let the printer make the decision for you, if you let the printer make the decision on what paper to put it on, it's going on toilet paper. Okay. Now here's a company that gave you, okay, give back to the companies that give you. And the reason I say that is because how do they continue to do these things? You think that's a profit center for them? It's not a profit center. It's their vision of how they're going to continue to go forward with print and how they're helping the industry, understand. They're helping us understand what our business is. Our business is to entice the eye. Our business is to take this whole haptic thing, touch, feel, stimulate the senses. Okay, who's putting that message forward? They are. And
you say touch and feel. So I remember when we got the KBA, and actually it was at the UV conference that I'm going to in March, where I met Kirk Koning, who's also a veteran of UV. And I hired him to come down to our place for 1 month and stay there. By hiring him for the month, and I've said it before, we put ourselves 1.5 years ahead of where we would have been had we done it on our own. Probably $500,000 ahead of the waste of all the substrate that we would have used and out the window, all the plastics and all of that stuff. But we practiced or tested 7, 8, 9 different substrates, from a paper, from a plastic, to a board, to a PT, PP, whatever it was. Biodegradable paper. There was one poster that we made. It was a picture of a green apple, and we got the green apple scent from Scentisphere in Burlington, Vermont, and we put it on. And I kid you not, when we went to, because I used to give the salespeople reasons to go see people, not to ask for an order, just to show what we're doing that's current, new, and no one else is. And we had this big poster, green apple. When you lay it on the table, the room started to smell green apple. Who doesn't like green apple smell? Right? Definitely. But I tell you, in meetings, people would be sitting there and rubbing the paper, and I did business cards with bubble gum scent and all that, outrageously expensive, but all of that was just to get people's attention, right? And it's print, but most of the people we know don't do anything like it. You said to somebody, or you said to me before going out, the first thing a company gives someone is the brochure, but the first thing that really they give as a person when they meet is the card. Why people are trying to buy $15 business cards and not go for the embellishments and pay $1 a card, so the impression that you make when you first meet someone is off the charts. And then by not doing that, we want to go out and try to sell customers on higher end, better stuff that we're not using.
Exactly. And, it's like the parents, who tell you not to do something while they're doing it. Or, don't do this, and you see them do it. And the thing is I look at it, and I really hope this message comes across properly, because I just did this with you when you called, because I want to try to help educate anyone that would listen in the printing industry. God. And the thing is,
could I call you Dad? No, you're not.
No, but it's not for my benefit.
Right.
Okay. Like here, I print a lot for the industry, whether it's coating companies, whether it's, I have printers throughout the United States and in Canada call me on how to do it. I am very cooperative with it, because I am not naive enough to think that I could do it all. Okay. But there's some printers that I deal with, and they call me and say, Jeff, we want to do this. We saw this thing in here. We want to do this. Can you do this for us? It's just a cover. I said, look, I'm going to do better for you. I'm going to show you where to get it, how to do it, right? No. We don't want to do it. Our management doesn't want us to do it.
It's not their wheelhouse.
We want you to do this. And I said, look, I want to try to help you.
You are, by doing it.
To do it. And then this way, when you do one, it'll just like amp you up. You'll go to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah, but by the way, what you're doing is exactly like when I see a good recipe for cooking and I see the picture and I see how it looks and I'm mouth watering, and then I'll, I'm not a big cook, but every now and again I'll try something and I get to some point and I'm like, this isn't even looking anywhere remotely like what I'm supposed to end up with. And I'm halfway through. So here I am. I've got the video, I've got the ingredients, I've got the tell how on how to do it. So maybe a little too much salt in my, right? Same thing for what you're doing, what people want, which is great. And the fact that even though that you're willing to tell people is great, because people should be wanting to listen just to know, right? But the other thing that you just said was, and it's a bigger problem. You said when you talk to a guy in the company or girl, I always got to add that in, management doesn't want to. Well, problem in our industry is management doesn't want to do a lot of things that it should do, right?
Exactly.
Create a better culture, create a better environment for learning, for teaching, for people working together, for talking to competitors. That's a whole other.
That's an everyday struggle with every company. And like I told you earlier in our conversation, we're not the perfect company by far, but the difference is we strive to do it. Okay. And maybe we're not successful at doing it, at every aspect of it, but when the end product is done, it shows. Like I always, you could tell a company by picking up its product, what type of company that is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any company, and any industry.
You just pick up the product. I have salesmen that sit there and say, oh, we're this. Okay. We're the best coding company. I tell them, bring me in the samples and show me your samples. Show me your marketing material.
Right.
So they come in and they show me, a piece over here. It's just a collage of things that don't even talk about their branding. Okay. So you want me to invest in your product, okay, and buy your product, and you can't show me the reason why. Okay. And that's why I say, be who you say you are. And he goes, Jeff, we have those. I says, so I go down to the receptionist, I bring the gentleman down and I say, hey, I tell the receptionist, I say, hey, Rose, do me a favor. When this gentleman shows up again, don't let him in to see me unless he shows you his sample book, because I don't have 2 hours to waste.
Right.
Everybody makes Mop and Glow. Okay. We have to figure out, I need beyond Mop and Glow. So when you walk in my door, I'll welcome you into my door, but have something that's going to be a silver bullet for me. Have something that you're going to bring to us, and it's going to be the silver bullet, because we have, the market that we could push that out into. Okay. And when we push it out into the market, like, I've been to a few, expos, print expos, and they're going, you're the assholes who did that book that caused me all these problems with my salesman. Well, think about a salesman. What does a salesman want to do? He wants to sell. He wants to sell something new. I mean, if we go as basic as McDonald's, would you like fries with that? Well, if you have nothing to upsell, then you have a commodity, and everything just goes downhill from there. And when you have commodity, all that's going to happen is you're going to exist, and you're going to continue. And
maybe not for long.
Exactly. And to continue to put forward something that eventually the client won't find it worth for. And then somebody else is going to come along and say, hey, would you like, we could put this on your coffee thing to keep your hand warm, and it doesn't burn your hand. I mean, all this innovation, and he steals your business. And no matter how good you try to serve that client, you lost your business, because you're not thinking of the client. The client is the reason you're in business. And it's a two-way street with the client. It really is a two-way street, because you choose them just the way they choose you. Because the thing is, at the end of the day,
nothing in life is one way, right? Like, so if you know that in life, and everything you do in life is like that, then you don't have a problem. But our industry, for some reason, I think most people like to try to swim upstream.
Exactly.
Right. I'm making things, I'll go back. I remember when CTP came out back, I think maybe it was 96, ish. And a local printer put the first one in here. And the first thing he did was all of a sudden there's no plate charge. His print didn't go up. Right. And in those days, we would charge $400, $500, $600 for a set of 4 plates and a proof.
Exactly.
So immediately, boom, and he changed the whole local market for no reason, because he thought he would get an advantage by having no plates and do more business, even though the machine, the CTP was $1 million at the time when it came out.
Forget CTP. Look at digital printing. Look at digital printing.
Oh no, now we could fast forward. Now
it could print everything variable. It could do every expanded color gamuts, everything, right? And we figured a way to screw that up and sell it for less.
Well, I used to see people digital, like not the larger sheets now, but when digital started becoming digital and people advertising or talking about 10, 15 cents a copy or whatever. And I would say to some people, and I'd even say to the manufacturers, you got to start teaching your customers how to sell and cost it. I said, yeah, so I'm paying 5 cents a click, but I got the machine, I got the space, I got the air conditioning, I got the support, I got the license. I said, you got to sell it at 45 cents a click. Right. Exactly. And we have, and for that, I hold the manufacturers responsible for that error, because they'll say that, oh, it's not our business, but it is your business to educate us because you're creating this shit for us.
Yeah.
Right.
They became boxes, and they were selling boxes, and it became so commoditized.
Oh,
okay. You know, like, you know, I don't want to go off topic, but I know you have some questions you have to get to. So,
well, you know what? Just, I mean, I saw my other question was, what do you do different? But you answered that for 40 minutes, so we're good.
Yes.
Right. No, you know what? I don't really have, we'll pick another time to talk about innovation and technology. What I really like about this discussion was that it wasn't kind of what I had planned, and we went off topic from the paper, but you so nailed it about our industry, about what we should be doing, what we don't do, that we should be looking up, we should be walking the talk, talk the walk. I've been screaming that forever, just because I believe that whatever industry you're in, you want to take advantage of it. You want to be the most profitable. You got to be profitable if you're going to continue doing innovation and technology, because it's getting way more expensive today, right?
Exactly.
So the essence of our business is it comes down to the culture. It comes down to costing it properly for profit. There is nothing wrong with profit. There's nothing wrong with big profit, right? Exactly. As long as your customers are having a perceived value, then everybody's good. I used to tell my salespeople, don't ask me for a great price. We haven't even estimated the job yet.
Exactly.
Right? They're walking in already determining that they're going to be high. And you know what? You're going to be high. You know why? Because we just spent the most money in the city on all this equipment, and we cannot give it at the same price as before.
Yeah, but the thing is if you could show the difference, you know, most printers, you said this earlier, most printers walk in and they're just trying to sell on who they are, their equipment list, this, that, or another. When you go to a great restaurant, do you go back and ask them what kind of ovens they have and what kind of, the only judge that tells you what a great restaurant is, how does the food taste? What's the presentation?
Right.
Okay, what's the presentation and what's the atmosphere? Okay, you don't go back there and try to see how it's manufactured and how it's put together, because odds are you wouldn't eat there if you see what's back there. So I think a lot of times we need to really put together marketing material. We spend a lot of money on marketing material. Okay,
we print everybody else's marketing material in the world.
Exactly. And then you take these things and you don't go into some place and say, we're a printer, this, that. Here's what we do. Let me just make it very clear. Let me show you what we do. Okay, I don't want to tell you what I do. I'm going to show you what we do, because too many people tell you what they do, and that's noise. That's just noise.
Well, when you tell someone what you do, my experience, Murphy's Law, you usually mess it up when you're trying to do it for a purpose like that because you said it.
And that's the goal of those Sappi books,
right?
When a printer could walk in somewhere and say, look at this beautiful, look at the ideas on it, read it, read it because it's some of the most powerful information that they spent a lot of money, more money than any researching. Okay.
Right, yeah.
They hire some of the best researchers. Okay. And then they expect you to read it and go out and use it as a sales tool and in turn give them back business.
Right.
Okay? This is a simple thing. It's like completing the circle. And
It
the thing is
really is simple.
we don't want to read it. I mean, there's so much material that they put out. Okay, so you want something about fashion, they have a fashion education vertical, they got education vertical, they have verticals for everything.
And
okay?
people pick and choose what they want to look at because there is more content today than ever before, coming at us faster than ever before.
Okay, when I hear that, okay, there's a lot more. People say content. I say there's a lot of noise. I always tell people, are you making noise or making?
Well, content's a new word for stuff.
Yeah, are you making noise or making things happen?
Right.
Okay, because at the end of the day, when you're working with a brand, and see, that's the other thing. We're very blessed that we get to work with the brands we get to work with. Okay, and I'm very blessed. My son and I are very blessed because he joined me, came over and joined me, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened. I put my money where my mouth is. I brought young people into the industry, into the fold, a lot different, because they think a lot different. And I'm trying to convert them into my thinking process. And then all of a sudden I realized this gentleman is even more creative than I am. And I got to stop. And, when you hire someone smart,
you got to let them talk.
Let them do their job. Don't try to hamper them. And I think that's what a lot of companies do.
Well, that actually would be like, and I don't like the tagline, like the millennials, but we've got younger people coming in because, as you said, half our industry is 1 foot in the grave already. Those people are not really listening to what the people coming in are saying. Some are listening and then saying to them, it doesn't work that way. And then we wonder why they disappear and they don't want to be here.
If we would have took that mentality, we would have still had stone wheels.
Right.
We wouldn't have had rubber wheels because the wheel was working pretty fine for that caveman. It was going.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think as an industry, we have to begin to bring in younger people into the fold, and they will tell you how they identify with print. Now, does working with my son, has it changed me a lot? It's changed me a lot because now it even opened my mind to so many things. He understands every coding like this, and it took me a long time to learn all this, and they pick it up so much faster.
Well, they're absorbing stuff at rapid speed. We were a little on the slow train for whatever the reason.
No, because we had to develop it.
Right.
Now it's easier to pick that. It's easy to pick it up and look at it and say, oh, this is cool. But what if you did this? What if you did that? What if you did that? And that's what, Sappi produced all these tools for. That's what Yupo produced all these tools for. That's what Domtar produced all these tools for. That's what Verso produced all these tools for. All these companies produce all these tools so that we can forward the industry so they can continue making paper. Okay. And they, I look at it, some do it way better than others, some, and the thing is you could tell by the pieces that are out there, who's using them, who's,
right.
But the thing is the printers have to adapt it. The printers have to really look at it and say, no, that's not what I do. I do French fry boxes. Okay. Well, French fry boxes is a good industry. It's not going to go away. You're going to continue to do French fry boxes, but every year, they're going to ask you to come down. Every year, they're going to say, how could you produce that French fry box for 1% or 2% less? Okay, so let's see. You want me to invest $3 million, $4 million for innovation to get you 2% better prices.
Wait. And those giant conglomerate corporations will pay you in 120 days, maybe.
Well, we've been very blessed. I mean, all I can just say is, I'll leave you with this. I had a life-changing experience recently. I didn't tell you this. I caught COVID, the first earlier case of Delta. I ended up, pushing myself, not thinking it was taking it serious, not, I went to the hospital once because I couldn't breathe right. And they sent me home. They misdiagnosed me. I went for 5 days and I had COVID pneumonia. Didn't even know it, So I ended up in the hospital. Okay. and ended up having them tell me that I wasn't going to make it.
Oh my.
And having them tell me that I have to call my family and tell them I'm not going to make it. Because it took my lungs, it took my kidneys, it took my, you don't really realize what oxygen does. So
well, we take everything for granted as humans, right?
And I'm sitting here and I always say God gave us the first video recorder. We just don't realize it. Okay. And in that moment, in that whole week, I sat there thinking, I'm going to die. Okay. And in that process of thinking I'm dying, I have people from the industry calling me. I have everybody that I know calling me from the industry and saying, Jeff, is there anything we could do for you? And I'm like, I can't breathe. I was on some hot airbag oxygen. I can't be ventilated. Thank God that I couldn't be ventilated. But the thing is I sat there and I got to see my whole life flash before my eyes. Okay. And I always say the video starts playing in your head, and the video's playing. And it was a pretty good video because I found good balance in my life as far as my family. Maybe wasn't there for every moment, but I looked at it and I looked at the career I had and the joy I had.
But you weren't ready to go.
And that's the thing. And what I really found amazing was what made me go through this. And I'm telling you, it's a miracle that I made it. And the doctors even said it's a miracle. Okay. Because that Friday they had given up. They couldn't do nothing. They gave me an experimental drug and it worked. And I always say it's by the grace of God, not by,
Right.
And I promise, hey, I'll make I'll write a different chapter of my life if I make it through this. But the thing is what I really saw is when you begin to live for others, your life changes. It really does. All the reasons I was ready to say, I'm going to go home. I did my thing. I cannot say I couldn't have had a greater career. I couldn't have had a greater family. Everything was great. If I would have, exited this world, I would have been a happy man. But then I started thinking, I just had a grandson. I haven't seen
where are you going,
boys. And then I started saying, these are all the reasons to not feel sorry for yourself and say you're going to die, but to say, hey, you're not living for you. You live for others. And with that, things turned around. And that's this whole industry as a whole. We need to help each other. We need to go forward with each other. And I don't want to sound arrogant or, sometimes I get to the point where I talk to a lot of people, peers and printers, and they just don't get it. And I'm sitting there saying, I'm going to get to the point in life where I can't teach stupid. I just can't do it no more.
I can't deal with stupid anymore.
I want to help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see us as an industry thrive. There's enough business out there for all of us.
Agreed.
You don't need to do this.
By the way, if everybody would just adjust their pricing to make profit, you could do a little less and make a little more.
There you go. And
right. And be more efficient and watch your mistakes.
The auto industry taught us.
You know what? We can, everything we say will go on to another 20-minute.
Yes. And I know that, you're limited to a half hour. I think we jumped.
Well, no, I can go for 3 hours. I just don't know who's going to listen to us for 3 hours after. I think the attention span is only maybe 20 minutes at a time for the average person.
And I think less for a printer.
Yeah, maybe.
They're always
I have ADHD TV, so I'm bouncing around all the time. But you know what? We're gonna pick this conversation up again and make it. If you're good, I'm gonna make you regular guest because of all the people that I speak to. You happen to be in an area that I could relate to, which is the UV, the coding, and the marketing, and that's the shit that I love beyond. But just listening to your experience and the way you're talking, from what you've seen working with people, even your son, I think the industry could learn a lot from you if they're really open and they want to listen. And there's a few things that you said that I think people could walk away with just a little bit, make a minor adjustment and make a whole bigger difference in what they do. And I myself have been through quite a bit of stuff, business, personal. And in the last 2 years, and I think COVID, I'm looking at as a bit of a blessing because I had the time to dig deep, to see, to learn, to teach myself some new things and change the way I think. And I think more people in our industry need a little bit of that just to give us that push to go a little farther, right? Because the industry's in very needy shape right now.
Our industry will thrive. Okay.
Well, we always do, right? But I'm just now we're in a valley now.
It's going to be based on who will adapt the new way of business.
Right.
Okay. Because the old adage, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. You can't do it. You just can't. And the thing
that's why you got to let somebody new in the business come in and help lead you, because
exactly,
you know, I'll say it this way. COVID was a game changer in life for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. And I think people have to embrace it, right? And start thinking about what's going to be. And COVID gave us that 2-year break where now we shouldn't talk about what was, because it doesn't matter.
How much different are we? This is what I always tell people. How much different are we as an industry than Blockbuster? Blockbuster thought they were going to be around forever selling videotapes and renting videotapes. And they weren't smart enough to see that things were going digital. And we sit there and say, look at those. This guy should have saw that. They should have bought Netflix. They should have came in on Netflix. We look at this whole thing. We can't even identify what our own markets and say, this is our industry. Our industry is going to continue to go forward. It's just going to take the leadership. It's going to take the people that are thinking futuristic, are thinking automation, are thinking, you know, that's how our industry is going to move forward, and it's going to flourish. It's really going to flourish.
I just hope more people could embrace it a little quicker, so we move as an industry together, not in pieces.
Yes.
Right?
And I think it's going to happen. I really think coming out of this COVID, with, like you said, it's a great thing, because we all learned a lot. We learned a lot through this. We learned how to get through tough time. We really did learn how to get through tough time. We learned how important our employees were to us. We didn't lay off one employee in the whole time. We carried every one of the employees through the whole COVID. We didn't lay them off. So the thing is employees are very important. Your culture is very important. And
as an owner, selfishly, right? Like, let's leave all the hoopla out there and what we do. As an owner, for the investment, you want to be nice to your people because you need them to get your ROI.
Exactly.
Right. And then there's the right way and all that other stuff. But I'm just saying,
it's like managing a sports franchise.
Yeah. You go into business as an entrepreneur to make money, not to, yes, I want to take care of the people. Yes, I want to do good, but I'm here to make money first. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I didn't get into business because I want to feed 100 people and carry all that grief for nothing at the end.
So we need to manage our franchises properly. We need to put the best talent on that team. We need to run the best, you know, we need to do the best we can do. And hopefully we can continue to win. We can continue to win at this thing.
Oh, then it's good.
And we'll all go to the Super Bowl of print.
I'm right there. Let's make the party now. All right. So I'm calling it a day on this because we've gone, this would be my longest conversation interview.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It was spectacular. When I write it up and it goes on LinkedIn, I'm going to write something about the length and that people should sit and listen when they're sitting in traffic on the way home, because it's very engaging and it's very educating and make you feel good about the industry. I just want to say to you, Jeff, super pleasure and an honor to meet the UV man in the industry. Likewise. As far as I'm concerned, you're classic color, but you're Mr. Sappi to me. And take that with me all the time. We're going to talk again. To everybody else, I really hope that you made it this far and you're hearing me at the end as I thank Jeff for coming on. Come back again. Keep listening. If you have anything you want to say, let me know. Love to chat with you. Check out the Print Whisper on time. Check out the Print Whisper online and like it. Check out the YouTube channel and just reach out to me if you want to talk print. If you have anything great. Warren Werbitt, I love print. What they think, and we'll see you back here soon next time. Jeff, thanks again.
Thank you. Have a great day.